All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Connie's Crit. This is our fifth crit, and it's my second crit for the crit itself. I said crit so many times. So basically, we started this because we really wanted to create a safe space for artists to come and show their work and get feedback. Because when we're an artist, we're so alone doing our own work, and it's hard to actually have the courage or the opportunity to get your work shown and get critiqued. And we have our lovely guest panelists here today to give you their honest feedback, which is good. And it's always good to get other people's opinions because, there's some stuff that you don't see yourself when you're drawing. So it's actually good to hear it from another person. And then it makes you think about your work in different ways and make you challenge yourself in different ways. And honestly, there's so many talks about fashion designers and collections and dissecting the collection, but there isn't really a space where you can come and just talk about drawing and talk about art and creativity. So that's the reason why we created this, and it's our goal to help our community come together and just, talk about what we love doing. So we have our lovely guest panelists. So whoever wants to go first, either Siobhan, Scott, or Elsa.
I'll go.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a jewelry designer and accessories designer, and I've been doing this for about 25 years. So basically, I design for high street brands and for boutique brands, and also I make some bespoke stuff for more individual customers. So I look at putting ranges together, which kind of I linked somehow to drawing because I'm passionate about drawing. I've always taken classes, and how to create a story and a narrative and how to bring people into the mood. And that's even with ranges of jewelry, you're always looking for the bigger picture and the color palette. So that's where I come, and that's why Patrick asked me to join. And what I would like to see is what you guys are talking all the time, and I think it's amazing since you went to Fashion Scout on Saturday.
Yes.
What can you do that's another strand to that photographers are doing one thing and you're doing another?
Yeah.
And it's to see how you can create the response. And I think that's what the fashion drawing, and it was beautiful stuff that came out of Saturdays. And I think that's just really exciting to see that because it's so alive, that quick work.
Exactly.
So that's what I think I'd love to see, to just get the essence and the narrative and the mood of whatever the show was.
Yeah. And we're really happy to have you.
Thank you. I am so delighted to be here.
Yeah. Elsa or Scott, whoever.
Yeah, I mean, I can introduce myself. So I'm a kind of an outsider, I think, but I'm an event manager, but also a DJ. I organize this event called the Live Drawing Music Club. So I'm mixing music with dance and also drawings. So I'm inviting a lot of illustrators or beginners to come and join me to this event. So I've been running this event for like probably the whole year. So I'm on the number 8, I think. So yes, I'm doing this. Sorry, I think there's a problem with the sound. I'm not sure if it's me.
Is it you?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but okay. So yes, I'm organizing this lovely event full of creativity. It's always an experience, different type of music, different type of dance. The last session, Connie was in Paris to actually manage the group and then teach a little bit, I would say. She did a few demos, so it was an amazing session. And I'm very excited about tonight because I love to see the different point of view depending on the artist. So I'm very excited, and it's my first panel. So
yeah, it's nice to have you. And we invited you because you have such a musical ear, and it'll be interesting to see, how music influences art, because you know, if you have a fashion show, you can't not have music.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was her whole idea of exploring how music affects art and how we draw and how we create. So welcome, Elsa.
Thank you.
And next we have Scott.
Hey guys, I'm nervous now. I'm like, everyone's got this proper intro, and I'm like, shit, I ain't prepared anything. But, I'm Scott W. Mason. I'm a freelance illustrator based in London. I don't know what to say about myself. Like,
Tell us everything about yourself. We want to know.
they'll be here all day. You'd be bored shitless. I work for brands like Louis Vuitton and Dior and Tiffany. And then I've just recently launched a drawing course, which is going down really well, which is reopening next week. So if anyone wants to do an 8-week drawing course with me, just have a look at that. And yeah, other than that, I'm here because I ain't got anything else to do. And it's just really exciting to see what people are producing, really. Like, I'm just interested to see how people take what they see on the runway and how they respond to it in an illustrative way. And if everyone's doing runway poses or people are doing their own thing, it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. And you've been doing live events recently, I saw.
Yeah, well, they all got cancelled because of Liz, but they're starting to get...
Oh, because of the...
now.
Oh, no. Is it because of the Queen's passing?
Yeah. It's been a weird time in London. Everyone, like, you walk around, you see a face everywhere. It's like a ghost everywhere. But it's everything's back to normal-ish now, so
yeah,
should be okay.
Should get back on it. All right. So today we're covering J.W. Anderson. I thought I can show you first what the actual collection was. So if we have a look here. So that is, if you want to really understand the concept behind it, you can have a read here. I mean, you can see some keywords, Vegas Video Gambling Arcade. You know, J.W. Anderson is always really quirky, if you know the brand. And let's go down here, computer keys. It's really interesting because when you actually start to come in and illustrate a collection, I always like look for keywords and to match up with the visual imagery. So let's have a look at the collection. And his work is always really funny. There's a funny element to it, like keyboards.
Mm.
Always playing with different sizes, scale, textures. That's hilarious. So hopefully you can get a feel for this season. There he is. Yay. So our first artist, let's pull her up, is, oh yeah, Isis. Now I know your name from your work. So tell us a bit about your process.
Like I said, I'm really new to fashion illustration. So one of the things I wanted to do for this was really try using mixed media, kind of pushing the envelope and especially doing like the layering effects, and just also trying to give more life to my runway illustrations or sketches. I also try to really focus on proportions and making them not look as cartoony, but not too stretched out, but not too realistic. These ones I really timed myself in only about doing 10 to 15 minutes, and also working with like acrylic and like the Tombow markers and a little bit of like pastel, like crayons, and a little bit of like highlighter. So really just kind of mixing a lot of things to try to get like the playfulness of the show and just trying new things, really trying to step out of like the safety zone.
Yeah, your comfort zone. It's so different from your other one.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. Any feedback from our panelists?
I really like it. Yeah, just I like the movement, and yeah, really good.
Yeah, the texture is gorgeous that you've done on the garment. That's really lovely, and I love the energetic lines in the background. It's really nice. It adds to kind of the movement of them walking. The one thing I do notice, and it's just because I've been looking at, I've been animating lately, so you kind of get the walk cycle, is that both of the feet are kind of in the same position. Like they're both about to take a step, whereas one of them should be hitting the ground and the other one should be lifting up, or the other way. But other than that, it doesn't let it down, so don't worry. But other than that, love it. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think there's such energy in it and so much movement. And I like just at the back where you have those line little squares or rectangles. It just hints at what was going on. And, you know, he had the arcade, and without any detail, it draws you in to just check what is going on there. And like Scott said, those lines, just very energetic. I like that. And 10 minutes, fabulous. It just kind of pops out. That's a moment on the show. Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah. Did you add a digital aspect to it, or is it all by hand?
I only like grinded up a little bit and cleaned like my cat's paw prints because she walked across it, because the back is like brush ink, and then she decided to walk across it. So
Oh, you kept it. It will add to the drawing.
but yeah, no, it's all just mixed media on like a cardboard stock. I just brightened up the contrast a little bit.
So did you draw on top? Did you put the ink movement?
Yes,
on
it's
first?
like this really fat like alcohol black marker. I just kind of like scribbled it and then kind of drew over that. I kind of blocked it in with a little bit of like a white acrylic paint. I kind of started in the torso, and like I'm not really good at figure drawing per se, so I kind of started in the torso to kind of centralize the picture, and just kind of drew up from there to try to fit the page, because some my layout, for some reason, I always shift my people too low, and then I don't have room to put their feet. So I try to put them centralized to start, and then kind of draw from there.
Yeah.
I like the way it just feels quite layered. I like that in such a simple drawing to feel there's quite a lot of layer and texture. It feels there's a bit of depth to it, which I really like.
Did anybody watch the actual video of the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the music like?
It was kind of like it was like a sea type. I mean, like I think it was more like natural noises, and like you know, like not the beach, but you know, like
Oh, the sea, the ocean.
yeah. I think it was made to because you know that girl was wearing like the dress with the fish.
Oh yeah, the dolphin. Yeah, yeah.
It's supposed to be made for that element, I think. So it wasn't like electronic music, or
That's
so it was very like natural sound and not just
Yeah.
So that music was actually nice.
What would you
yeah.
have done looking at her drawing? What would you think about in terms of music?
I think it would be more like electronic music, to be honest.
Yeah,
Because
with dolphin noises.
yeah, that's why I was a bit confused with the fashion show, just because pieces were more in the category of like the beach and seaside, and then the other was more like metallic, and then so I was a bit confused of yeah. It's just one of those.
It's always interesting to see how that all comes together. And then I don't know, maybe that's something you guys want to think about, is drawing. Another interesting interpretation could be watching the shows, thinking about the music and how the music affects your drawings of the outfits, if that makes sense.
I definitely think that it was kind of a bit uneasy. It was quite low. There was, considering it was such a loud, the neon lights in all the arcade machines.
Yeah, it didn't really matter. I mean, I don't know.
You would think like video game noises, you know, the Pac-Man, that
It
kind of
was
stuff.
really a little bit and a little bit slow, and it was
I always want to know the intention behind the designer. Okay, so the next one. Thank you so much, Isis. Is that how you pronounce your name? Is it Isis?
Yes, Isis. Yeah.
Okay. So is Tamayo here? Tamayo? She's not here. I picked Tamayo's because of the colors that she's used. So if you can have a look.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think that is actually tissue paper and
Oh, wow.
keyboards, possibly.
What is it, a collage?
Yeah, 3D
Oh.
collage with colors. So I don't think she's here to explain her process. So I'll give you a minute to have a look and think about any feedback you want to give to Mayo. What you thought was good, what she can improve, things like that.
Definitely think she captures it. One of the earlier parts of the, the start of the show, you suddenly see the machines, and
Yeah,
that's the pop. She's got great pops of color. And
yeah.
I like the way it goes through the arm and the leg. The head may be a little small, but that's
Mhm.
everything about the show was so quirky anyway.
Yeah,
A lot of the things that he had. So I think that's a really good take on it.
yeah, it's a different take.
I find it interesting that she's got one of the key and the keyboard on the side. I don't know if it's just one piece of the keyboard. Like,
Yeah, I think it's 3 on the dress as well. Can
oh
you guys-
no, just at the bottom, like
Oh
next to the
yeah.
leg, you know.
Oh yes. Oh, that's her signature.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a Japanese way of putting signatures, I think.
Ah, I see.
I think it's really, really cool. I love all the colors and everything. What I would say to in future is maybe you've done it on the legs and the arms, but the way that you use the brighter colors is the way that the light's hitting the skin. So maybe it's not quite the same in the face. So that's the improvement that I would suggest. And also the arm, I would have had the forearm straight, just because the weight that she's putting on her shoulder, her elbow, would have probably meant that you'd be leaning all of it on the TV screen rather than lifting it up a little bit, but that's nitpicking. But other than that, the collage is so cool, and I love that someone's destroyed their keyboard for a drawing. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, I thought it's a really good interpretation of like the atmosphere, especially using the background as an element into the work. And I've seen her previous works, and she's really taken a risk. So I want to commend you, Tameo, if you're watching this in the future. Well done for, actually doing something different and keep pushing yourself. So, yeah. So I'm going to show the next person. Desiree, are you here? Desiree. Okay, I don't think she's here. I'm gonna just show somebody else's work.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Okay, where? Okay, I'm just
Hello.
okay, I'm gonna share my screen. There you are. Okay, so if you want to tell us about your process and why you chose this outfit.
Yes, I've watched the show, and I also tried to grab and understand the collection. It was very dark in the background, but this look that kind of popped out for me through all this technical and arcade theme. This beautiful, lovely model with the nice dress. He just grabbed my attention, and I decided not to take the black or dark background. So I decided to have very light tones. I used color pencils and chalk pencils, and just reduced it to this light and like fragile lace look, and but to take also attention to the whole surroundings. I just gave him some light. He got touched by the blue neon lights, so that's
I'm just going to put it next to the actual reference, because I think it's really interesting how you got that blue, like you were saying, the blue shade. So I'll put it next to each other. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I interrupted you. You can carry on.
No, I'm done.
Oh, you're done. Okay. So any feedback from our panelists?
I think it's really interesting that you picked this one because the other one, because they had
Oh no.
I cannot hear anything.
Oh, I think she just got frozen. We'll come back to Elsa.
I love this look. I had sketched it out as well because it comes as a sort of really classic silhouette after all some of the crazy stuff. But yet he's quite muscular and androgynous. And I think that, I think that you've captured that beautifully. And I do love that blue line and the blue shadow that you say at the back, that just, and it picks up in the boot.
Fine, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
And
really subtle but nice.
on the body and getting that feel of the silkiness of the fabric. Yeah, it's a great look, and nicely done, very nicely done.
Yeah, really nice. Scott?
Yeah, I think that you did a really great job. I love it when people use a kind of tonal background and then they put white on top because it's such a nice, it looks so nice on the eyes. Great job on proportions and everything. I would just say that there's a slight curve in their body that you've not quite captured. So just have that ever so slight curve in their body, just it gives a bit more motion and a bit more movement.
You mean here on this side?
Yes.
Like that.
So kind of think of them a bit more like this rather than straight. And then the other thing is, because it's such a delicate work, I feel like that blue line, now I see the reference photo, I completely get it, but I would have probably done a thicker blue line that you've done around the outside of him, but all the way around him. Just because I feel like that grounds it a lot more. Whereas at the moment, he's kind of floating in space because it's not the most contrasty of work. So I feel like that would have kind of just honed him or ground him a little bit more. But really lovely work, great job in proportions, and I love the lace detailing. So nice work.
Yeah, really delicate, really nice and soft.
What did you do the lace with? How did you draw the lace?
With a charcoal pen.
Oh.
A chalk pen, or I don't know the right word. I'm sorry, but yeah, this I really had to take care of not swiping through it. But yeah, it was. I just tried to really work it out, to let it shine like it is, and yeah.
Yes,
That's what it is. I also I thought about using some acrylics or gel pens, but this would not have shown the delicate lace, I would say. So
no, it's all chalk pastel, or is there some watercolor?
the yellow tones are all color pencils.
Yeah.
And kind of mix chalk and pencil. It depends on the color then. So I mixed it a bit.
It's lovely. You can see all the different yellow tones. It's lovely. Really lovely.
Elsa, you got cut off, so.
Yeah, no, I was about to say exactly the same thing. So I was just happy that you choose this model, because I know that there is another 2 different colors, and then this one is very delicate and it pops out. And then I just love the lace, and then it's just, yeah, and the light, everything, and you capture the face very well. So, and then the shoes that I really like. So I really love your drawing. Congratulations.
And
Thank you.
and I love the that you chose this model because it's so androgynous, you know.
Yes, right.
The face, more and more I feel like we're more accepting of different faces in the industry, so well done to highlight that. All right, so I'm going to show you who is next. Katie, are you here? You are here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Put you on the spot. Let's have
Hi.
a look. Hi, Katie. It's the first one, isn't it? This one.
Yeah.
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 Please tell us about your process.
Well, I thought it was, I was really drawn to the darkness of it. So I thought it sat really uneasy with me. So I thought that the relationship between technology and the human was kind of really strange to me, and I didn't know where they were merging, and it almost merged the computer and the human together a little bit. So I was thinking about that when I was looking at it. And I also picked up on the references with the coat hangers and the t-shirt. For me, it's like a classic white t-shirt, but then there's this sort of inside outness happening with the logo going on the outside and the label on the outside, and then it's kind of like this really logoed up t-shirt without being sort of printed. So I was really drawn to it, and I just love a white t-shirt, so I had to draw it.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I love monochrome, so it's always going to be there. So it's with pastel and Conte. Oh, yeah.
Love the textures. Any feedback?
I love it. I think it's fabulous. It just captures that mood of slightly uneasy, not quite sure, but a bit fun, and the bits of colour in the back that pull it out. You've drawn in there, you're sort of, what's actually going on? I think it, as a capturing a runway, I think it's perfect. I think that's as good as the photograph or any photograph. It just brings you right in, and I think that feels like the J.W. Anderson show completely. I love it. I love the dark at the back, but the moodiness, the movement in the lines. Yeah, congratulations. I think that's fabulous.
Thank you. That's so nice.
I really like it. I think I really like the face and the background as well. The only wish that I had is just that because I really like the fabric, the way that it's wrinkled, and I've loved to see it on the drawing.
Yeah.
But because that's, I think, I mean, what I really like about the that kind of short or dress, I'm not too sure, it's really the wrinkle.
Yeah, it's crispy, isn't it?
Crispy. So my only remark would be, I wish that you made that drawing a bit more wrinkly.
Yeah.
but otherwise, I really like it. And then, yeah, again, the color in the background, and then the face, stunning. So yeah, good job.
Scott?
Yeah, I think this is really beautiful. The way that you've done the energetic background. I've written the way that you captured the skin as well is really, it's like energetic and playful, but it's also quite intricate. So, and the tones that you've used, I think you did a really great job. Don't hate me, but I disagree with Elsa.
Oh,
no! I'm sorry. But no, I was going to say, I love that you've done all these separate lines of the background, and then you've left the negative space. You've not got too finicky with the foreground, because I feel like the lines that you've done on the outline, it symbolizes a crinkleness. And I feel like if you did all that sort of lines on the t-shirt as well, it would just be too much for the eye. So the way that you've got this energetic background, and then the eye takes a break when it looks at the form and the shape of it as opposed to the texture, I feel like it's really, really beautiful. Masterful, some would say. So nice work.
I think you're right. I think that's the hardest thing, is to know what to leave out. I can never know when to stop, and I think that's so clever to have left it. But as you say, it's got the busy lines at the back sort of imply the whole thing, gives the whole mood of it.
Yeah, really nice. I feel like you've really come into your style, because I know you were in the last crit and you're just like figuring this out, but I feel like you really ran with it and took it, made it your own, and I can see your style coming out. So well done. And didn't you get into the didn't Charles Jeffrey put your work on his? That was amazing, wasn't it? See, Connie's crit works. Yay.
Equally dark.
Yes, definitely. I just realized I didn't put in your second one, which I would love to show everybody as well. I'm just gonna go here. Sorry guys. Connie's crits. I thought I uploaded it, but I didn't. Also, I don't know how to get out of this. How do I show recent work? because it's only top post. Is it on your I
Yeah,
can
it'll be on my profile.
Yeah, sorry. Everybody follow Katie, because look, that's your thing, no?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, really nice.
I love that.
Yeah, really good textures. Oh, Desiree.
Because, well, Scott would know more, but just trying to render knitwear has to
Mm,
things.
yeah.
And you'd know too, and that's beautiful. It's just, again, knowing when to stop.
I love knitwear. Knitwear is like the greatest thing to draw.
It's just fabulous. Is that pencil as well, or Conte, or
It's pastel. It's like a sort of wax.
an oil one?
Pastel.
Yeah, really good texture and lines, and it just looks really good.
Have you mixed chalk pastel with oil pastel? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do a bit of,
depth, and with the skin you get that nice sort of blushy feeling, and then you get the much harder line on the back.
yeah, recently I started using my oil bar again. I haven't used an oil bar since I was like a student, but I'm like completely obsessed with
Oil
it.
bars are nice.
Yeah, because
Really.
they go on so quickly and they're just so
Yeah.
smooth and nice.
Yeah, looks good.
And do you draw these big, large, or small, like A4? Or?
I was drawing really large, and then I went to A3, and then for Fashion Week I was like, right, I'm going to challenge myself to do A4 because I don't want a big pad. So I've kind of been drawing A4 this week, but I'm a bit more comfortable if it's larger.
Yeah, because you're still getting a lot in A, because the heads are quite small when you're on an A4. It's lovely. Yeah, I love that. It's the same thing. It just really sums it up. Thank you.
Well done, Katie. Okay, so next person. Oh, Melanie. She's here. I'm gonna put you on the spot again.
Hi.
Don't worry, we don't bite. I love this. I think I have another one as well. I have to find it. Stephanie.
I have 3. I made 3.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. I think
Thank you.
one. Can you tell us about your process and why you chose these looks, and they look so good?
I think I find backstage pictures more interesting, also because it's not moving that much. And the left one I did from the runway, and I love the
dolphin back.
How I don't know what it is. It's a skirt, maybe, but I love the texture and the colors, and also the dolphin on the back.
Wow. How long did these take you to do?
I made them yesterday, like I think each 20 minutes, and today I colored them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because I have some difficulties with my eyes. Started a half year ago, so I have new glasses and can't focus that much for a long time. So I have to. He said you better can stop working as an illustrator. I said no. That's
no.
So I have to find a way to do it in steps. So.
I'm sorry to
sketching was like 20 minutes, and then I think.
Yeah, I guess you can't stop once you start.
No, it's difficult. I have to focus. But I find my joy in drawing again with these drawings I made for you, because I was struggling with I'm a perfectionist, and I also could use some a more loose kind of drawing style. So
like the timing and stuff.
Yeah, so it's for me to be quicker and not to think long about what.
Yeah, I think it's working for you, to be honest. Like it's still you, but there's something about it that's a bit more, I don't know, I guess it's a bit more fresh, or looser, not too uptight. But well done. Any feedback?
I really love the blue bag. It's really
Yeah, right.
and the way that you draw the ends on each picture, on each drawings are super well done. And then I love the look on the model on the right side.
Yeah.
So you are drawing from a backstage picture or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I see.
Yeah.
Really
In fact, the
nice.
models look more relaxed, I think,
Okay.
they're backstage.
Yeah, not too serious.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Is that watercolor you used in that?
Gouache and water and water. Yeah, how do you call it? Aquarelle.
Yeah, watercolor. Yeah.
I use markers, paint markers, and I use pencils.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she's fabulous. She's sort of stark, just there.
Thank you.
And the dress, but she actually takes over, even
Yeah.
though the dress is so busy. I think she's just got such a strong look. I think that's wonderful. I really do. And the patterns are so hard to do. And is that a big drawing you did or a small?
It's a A4 drawing.
Yeah, so it's
Really small.
wonderful that you get
Yeah.
the separation of all the colors.
Yeah, maybe my Indonesian roots. I like to draw little things and yeah.
Yeah, and her look away, it's lovely. It's lovely, and her body slightly askance. You've caught it beautifully. The other one's lovely. That sense of movement. Love it. Love the colors.
Thank you.
Scott, you have any words?
Yeah, I mean, they're both really gorgeous. The rendering of the bag on the left is really lovely. And the hand is, a lot of the time when you draw a hand like that, it can look very stiff or very blocky. But the way that you've got the little finger just slightly, over the index finger, whatever it is, looks really lovely. The woman is great. The print you've rendered so beautifully. There is something slightly stiff about her arm and her hand a little bit. I feel like, I don't know how to change it, but maybe just like separate her fingers a little bit more or something so it leads the eye sort of diagonally a little bit more. But that's really nitpicking. And the other thing that I would say, but this is more of a personal thing, is when I render print large scale like that, like all of its print, I try and do some of it smaller brushstrokes and very detailed, and then some of it more gesturally.
Leave it vague, you mean?
Say it again, sorry?
You leave it at a vague...
Yeah, so like more of a vague impression of it, because when everything's given to you in the same brushstroke, your eye kind of, it's beautiful, but it might glaze over a little bit. So when you kind of have bigger brushstrokes, smaller brushstrokes, some of them really detailed, some of them a bit bigger, it makes your eye dance around the illustration more and keeps people more entertained, basically. So there might be something worth trying. It might not be your style, it might, I don't know, but yeah, I'm just nitpicking because it is really, really gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely think you have such a distinct style, like already, because I know your work from before, and it's just I just know it's you. So that's a really, really rare thing I mean, it's so hard to come by, to have your own identity and your style, and I think that's what a lot of illustrators strive for, is to be distinctive, isn't it? And you have that kind of style that I just know it's you straight away. And I'm curious to see that, Connie's Crit has made you feel a bit looser, but maybe you can take it a step further and be a bit more looser and a bit more, you don't have to draw everything, because that's something I struggle with as well. So I need to tell myself not to do this. It's the temptation to draw everything and be really controlling with rendering everything precisely, and sometimes you have to just let go. And I really would recommend doing lots of life drawing, because that's a good way of timing yourself, not have you have to let go of any fear and anxiety. You have to just draw what you see, like in 10 minutes, and it does change your drawing. And I find that it takes me out of that controlling mindset. So it's a good balance, I feel. So that could be something you can try out in the future.
Thank you. Yeah, I was absolutely, I was thinking I started this way when I started posting online. So I'm really missing this kind of drawings, but I changed along the way, and then
Yeah.
I find it, yeah.
And you
better.
will change. I mean, you always have to constantly evolve
Yeah.
and grow and, try
Mhm.
new things as well. So, but well done to this.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Super.
Is that everybody? Oh no, we have one more just in time. Steph, you here?
Hi,
I know you're here.
Hello.
So you want to tell us a bit about your process in your art?
Well, basically, I just used watercolor for that. I use a lot of watercolor in my works, and I didn't really go out of my comfort zone for this one. But I drew it pretty quickly as well. Usually, I take way more time, and I go more into details. So that's the first time I actually use paint before my pencils. So I put paint on the paper and then drew on top of it later for like the details, like the eyes and the lips and all that. So that's pretty much it. Also, it's one of the first times I add some shadows, like the characters in the back to give it some depth. And I really like usually playing with ink effects. So that's why I played with that background a little bit, and water. So this is pretty much it, I would say. It took me maybe 30-40 minutes to do that.
Nice. Any feedback from our...
Did you splash some paint in the end?
I did, so it went a little bit overboard, but
Yeah,
I was
it's pretty good.
I was looking for a way to render quite graphically those glitters, and this is what I came up with. So it's more of an experiment than a finished product, I would say.
I really like the fact that you actually kept there is like, we can see the audience. I like the fact that, so it's very interactive as well. And I thought that this dress was also interesting. So I'm happy that you picked this one.
Yeah, I like the shape, the volumes of that. Yeah.
It's an odd dress, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was.
It's great and like,
a good one to
like a little donut.
Yeah, I think that's great because it's got the layers. It sort of draws you in. You sort of mid to light, then dark, and then the audience are just little shadows. It's again that sense I felt it was quite uneasy, some of that show, and you kind of get that there, the dark and the sort of shadowy people. I love it. Is it all watercolor or did you?
It is. It's actually all watercolor. Yeah. Or maybe I did use some Indian ink, I think it's called.
Yeah.
For the shoes, and because the black is more black and I like it better than watercolor usually. So yeah, but it's mostly ink.
Very cool.
Connie, would you mind just like showing the...
Yeah, I have it.
Oh
here.
yes. Oh yes. Sorry. The collection.
Yeah, just
To see. Yeah. Which one is it?
Oh yeah, is it that
Oh
one?
yes. Is it this
Yeah.
one or?
Is it the gray or the black one?
It's this one.
Ah, okay. Let me go back to. Yeah. Ooh. No. Okay, let me put that there. Put this here, and then
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
Really
Yeah, I
cool.
like the way it all fades down. And he said something I read in one of the articles about that collection, that everything's slightly blurring and things are blurring one into the other, and we're blurring into our screens because we're always on our screens. And I think there's that there, the dark and then the lines, and I think that kind of sums a lot of it up.
Yeah, I love the shadow on the face. It's really
nice.
I love faces, so this, I think it's the best of the drawing. For the rest, well, I'm
You're a face lover. It always happens when you're a face lover. You just tend to focus on the face. And like, that's good. You're happy. You're like, okay, everything else comes. I would have put more like spots as well, because it's like with the dress, it's a bit sparkly, more texture. Yeah. Scott, you have any feedback?
Yeah, I think it's really gorgeous. Like the muted tones of everything is really lovely. The two things I would say, which is, I know the pose on the right is very straight, but just like I said before, in illustrations, you kind of want to add a little bit of movement. So if you have more of a curve in the body to imply they're walking towards you, there's a bit more energy.
Exaggerated, yeah. Exaggerated, yeah.
Yeah, exaggerate it. Yeah. And then the other thing I would say is I know you said you went a bit OTT on the whatever it's called, like the splatter, which I would just say, if you are going to splatter, like you need to just think about the composition and where you want to lead the eye with the splatter. Because at the moment it's everywhere, so your eye's kind of darting around, whereas you want to think like, where do you want to lead the eye and focus? So if you kind of covered elements of the dress and the background and then did it. But yeah, like Connie said, if you kind of went really like, whoa, really angry at it and just filled the page, but was a bit more conscious about leaving parts of it out, I think it would have been really cool. But yeah, lovely work.
Thank you.
Really nice. I somehow really love the touch of blue and red. Very subtle, but it's nice.
I do too. I think the red's fabulous. They're just marks and you can see it movement. To me, it says movement. Yeah.
I was just like capturing that electric vibe that is in the show, basically, but without doing too much.
Yeah,
it's interesting because I was thinking that they only had those boots, those blue boots. So when I looked at the shoes, I was like, oh, I need to see. That's why I asked for the picture, actually, because I just wanted to see the shoes. So I like it. I think it's a nice touch, and
So you were drawing at London Fashion Week with us. How did you find that experience, and how do you find it drawing from the photo now? Because you have both experiences.
So I loved the Fashion Week experience. It was really challenging for me because I have a more rigid line, I would say. Like usually my work is really clean, so it was really taking me out of my comfort zone to try and like not, like you said before, try and draw everything you see, because you don't have time. You basically have 3 seconds to capture something. But so day one was harder than day two, and it is an amazing exercise that I would recommend to any illustrator, because it takes you really further in your,
because you only have
style development and all that.
Yeah, it's always a challenge to really think about timing, for example, this talk we're having now, we have actually, how many days was it? A week to draw the collection. And I know everybody leaves it till last minute to draw it, but I think timing, sometimes you can draw better in 1 minute or 2 minutes than your drawings from like 2 hours, because sometimes you get in your head and you tend to kill your drawing if you worry too much about it. So these exercises are really excellent to getting yourself out of that mentality. But well done, because it's so different from, I think, the ones I saw when at the Fashion Week.
Oh yeah.
Your style, coming out, and I think you should experiment a lot more, really, and mix your loose drawings with your, clean lines and see what you come up with. I think it could be really cool. So yeah, well done. Really cool.
How did everybody react to you being drawing or being illustrators at the shows? Did they come up and people watching you? And
yeah, everybody loved it, because literally it was us 6 illustrators and like 50 to 100 photographers. And it was I mean, you guys were all there, Tracy and Steph and I forgot who else, Xenia, etc. It was good. What did you guys think about the experience? Tracy, oh, I can't hear you, Tracy. Your mic is off.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so hectic, but everyone thought we were a little calm in an oasis of calm in the middle of all the hectic goings on. And so people were really fascinated to see what we were doing all the time and kept coming over. And the models loved when they were being drawn, they loved it. And yeah, the photographers were also really interested in what we were doing, weren't they? They also kept coming to see what we were doing and filming people drawing and
taking photos of us.
us.
Like,
Yeah.
models.
Yeah.
I think it's well done, all of you. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's like going to a crazy party and then you're trying to be calm and draw and like, that piece, you know. So I think it's a really good experience. I think more of us need to go. We need to band together. And I think, because I know sometimes artists, we just love to be at home and, you know, on our safe space or safe desk, you know, and not be exposed to all this energy. But as a collective, I think it would be really good for us to do it together, not be scared. You know, if you go by yourself, it's really daunting, a fashion show. It's really, you know, it can be kind of not judgy, I would say, but you feel a bit judged as well. So if we go all together, I think it's safer in numbers. And we're trying to encourage that for the next fashion week, hopefully. And it's just nice. People love it. People love drawing because it's so rare for everybody to come see people actually in the motion of drawing. And I think that's something we need to spread around. All right, Scott, live events, man.
No, I agree. I think it's such a great way to network as well, drawing at runways, because people are always interested, because there's a million people snapping away on their iPhone, but there's only 3 or 4 drawing on the sketchbook.
Yeah.
So it gets you noticed. So
I think I compare it to, you know, if you see a photo of an art piece, rather than going to a gallery museum and seeing the actual artwork, it's kind of like that. You know, you can see our work on Instagram and on social media, but it's different when you actually see it in real life and people doing it in real life, you know? So I think that's something we need to really think about. And don't be afraid, guys. Next fashion show can come.
it's the same with the runway show as well, because you see the clothes in person, completely different to seeing it on photo. And I've drawn things that I thought were trousers, and then I look in the video and it's a dress, and I'm like, oh shit, I've messed it up. But to see it in real life is like completely different, and to see it in motion is, so anyone that can go to fashion weeks, just go.
Oh yes, that's another thing that we're talking about, is that when you're drawing from a photo, it's very static, you know, and it's the photographer's interpretation. But if you actually go to the shows, you can see the clothes, like it's alive. The clothes is alive. It's so different when you see the actual clothes walking down the runway, or when the models are wearing it backstage. It's amazing. It's just like another thing rather than a static picture. But any last questions for our panels? Anybody wants to ask?
I'm interested as to how Scott got into so much live drawing. How did you know that that was where you wanted to? Because it seems to me like a huge amount of your work is driven by that. I'm just interested in how you knew that that was what to go for and how you initially started in that.
I just do it because I get paid to do it. It wasn't a choice. But,
funny.
It's to be honest, I just find live events is bread and butter work for fashion illustrators. Like, you just make your money that way because it pays well, and then I can spend the rest of the month just doing whatever I want to do, like personal work. How to get into it is just it's been a mix of like Instagram, people find me, I contact clients directly. Recently Tiffany found me through LinkedIn, so LinkedIn's still a good place to post. But yeah, you just kind of, and then also people that I've met at Fashion Week have given me work that I've kept in contact with. But if you want to know everything, you take my course, because I'm on my course.
We're advertising.
My little plug.
Oh, so funny. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for you know, joining us, and thank you for the panelists taking time out of your day to, you know, give your valuable feedback. We really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed being on it. Yeah, one more crit to go, but thanks again, and I'm looking forward to seeing all your other artworks that's coming soon. So have a good night. Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Connie.
Guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.